youth as a successor to our native languages. Land of diversity, land of unity, that is where we live in. Land filled with unity, many kind of peoples, many kind of cuisines, many kind of customs and languages. There's so many types of people and cultures behind it. We are being united in one language, the Bahasa Indonesia. But with times, native languages and speakers are gradually reduced. Today, I, Ardian Sha'afan Muhammad, am going to talk about we as a youth who bears the responsibility to continuing the legacy of our native languages. Indonesia is the largest archipelago in the world, with 17,508 communities of small and large islands we spend our every day together. With more than 1,340 ethnic groups that are recognized here, we fill our life with many kinds of people around us. And with over 300 native languages that in Indonesia we can speak to each other using our national languages. But those numbers won't be our obstacles in uniting Indonesia. With our national motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, unity in diversity, we managed to use those differences as a strengthening tools to boost our unity. When we were under the Dutch colonies back then, one moment made us realize that in order to get rid of the colonies, we must become one. On October 28, 1928, the youth back then made oaths, and one of those oaths is to be under one languages, the Bahasa Indonesia. In those exact moments, a method that would unite all the languages in this land was born. Nowadays, the language is become more spread around the country. The language becomes a way for people of different background to connect to each other, and it also becomes one of many subjects that are being taught in school, and we as Indonesians must learn it minimum for 12 years. Before one learns Bahasa Indonesia, everybody usually learns how to speak in their own native languages. At least that what happened to me, who was born and was in a rural area. But not with my acquaintances from a much more suburban area. They speak mostly Indonesians and a little of natives. There are fewer members of youth who speak native languages in bigger and more metropolitan area than one in a small and rural area. When I asked some of them, they would answer because of the parents only teach them how to speak in Indonesian, and the only source of learning the native languages is from school or from friends that are able to speak one. In some cases, when people move from their hometown in a small village to a larger town or a more metropolitan area, usually for university works, they have to speak Indonesian in order to go through all their activities in the town. And the mindset that having an accent when speaking Indonesian is a no-go makes the people who move from a rural area to town left behind their native language identity even more. When the time comes for people who left their village to come home to their hometown, the native languages are becoming more and more transparent. While the other factors are globalizations, bilingual or multilingual community, intermarriage, and natural disasters. Native languages were born from our ancestors' wisdom, passed down since a long time ago from our forefather to our generations. Its loss can be implicated as a loss of local wisdom, knowledge, and other cultural wealth of our nations. It may be small for now, but if we are going to let it pass, we will be faced with a great loss in the future. So what can we do? In order to make sure that in the future there are no native languages going extinct, we need some actions. We can learn more about our own languages and our own culture. As we learn more, we can teach others more. Next is we can use our native language in our daily basis. We can use it more whether it's a formal occasion or non-formal ones. And we can build a community, a place where we can share thoughts and ideas to preserve our native languages. We are the youth of Indonesia, and we are the one responsible for the future of our native languages. Maybe being a bilingual or multilingual in other international languages looks cool and appealing, but we must not forget how we are being made bilingual in the first place. With native language, we can normalize ourselves in a condition by knowing more than one language is a norm for all of us. We should be proud of ourselves to be able to speak our native language fluently as we speak the language of other country. We must stop harassment to those who has accent, as accent is a part of one's culture and identity. So let us put our interests together to preserve our precious wisdom that has been passed from generations. Don't make our generation as a stopping place for our identity. Embrace our own unity and culture. And remember, Indonesia is a land of diversity and unity. We are the one who will keep the diversity and unity going long for last and forever. Thank you. This is for me, Adya Chavan Muhammad.